hello, confirmands. I'm Cindy Berkner, and I am the Youth Ministry Coordinator for the conference. And so if you're watching this, you are about to begin your confirmation process. And I'm really excited for you because I was a confirmation teacher for years, and I know how important this can be in someone's spiritual journey. But before you get started, I wanted to come and greet you and give you a little insight and guidelines, that I call them, as to how to enter into the confirmation process. So the first thing is I want you to know that when you go through this process, I hope that you feel safe. That anything you share in this group with your pastor and the leaders of this confirmation class, as well as your peers, that you feel safe to share parts of your own story. Because there may be parts of the process that you are asked to do reflection within yourself. Maybe you're asked to tell some parts of your spiritual journey up until this point in your life. And we ask you to be honest when you do that, because then the people that you are with can better understand where you are in your faith and better understand how to get you to go into the next stages of confirmation. But another thing that I think is really important to be said is there may be people in this group that you go to school with, if you're going to school, or that are in your friend group. And if one of those peers in your group shares something that was important to them, they need to trust you too. That's part of the feeling safe that I was just talking about. They need to know that you're not going to run off to that group of friends and say, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe what Bob just said in confirmation. You need to make sure that everyone feels safe with you. And then you'll get the most out of this confirmation class, the experience of it. But maybe equally important is that you take this time with God. This is an introduction to a new, improved, if you will, relationship between you and God. You will build relationships with the other confirmands. You will, of course, build relationships with the pastors and the leaders that are helping you. But you're also going to be building a relationship with God, and it's so important to pay attention to all of that and be ready for all of the feelings and the good that will come from that. Now, I know that some of you may be wondering, why in the world is confirmation so important to me anyway? Well, here's one reason. If you've ever been to an infant baptism where you've seen those babies or children be baptized in front of your church, there's a line in that fancy liturgy that the pastors read that asks the parents if they promise to lead you in your faith up to confirmation. And the parents always say, I will. So they've already made this promise. So to them, going through the confirmation process is fulfilling that promise that they've made in front of God and the entire church. But it's really more than that. I mean, really, the ultimate reward for confirmation is the community that you build and the relationships. But really, you just get a membership in the church. You become a member of your church. So why is that so important to people like me and your pastors and your family? Well, I'm going to tell you why we think you need a church. For one reason, we think you need a church to live a good life. When you go to church, you are surrounded by people that share your faith, so to speak. They think the same way you think when it comes to God. It's a place to go with what we call like-minded people. It's a place that we think can help you live a happier life. 2, the second reason why we think that you need a church is to be a home base. Now, let me try to explain that the best I can on how that works. If you have, and I know a lot of you might not have these in your houses, but bear with me because this is my favorite analogy. If you have a portable phone in your home, or if you used to, you know that there is a base that goes on the wall, and then the phone comes off and you can walk all through the house with it. But if you set it down and you lose it, you can go back to that base and you can hit the call button, and that makes the phone beep, and then you can go and find it wherever it was and put it back up on the charger. But over time, if that phone is away from the charger for too long, it loses its charge and those batteries die. So even if you hit that call button, you cannot find the phone because it doesn't beep. You actually have to go out and physically look for it, turning everything upside down. Well, I picture church as being that charging station on the wall. And when we go to church, we are charged and able to go out into the world. And if you're gone for a period of time, you didn't lose your charge all the way. You can still feel the pull to come back, or people still know who you are and can call out to you and invite you back. But then if you're gone too long, maybe you lose your charge completely. Maybe people no longer know how to reach you, and they have to go out looking for you. And the good news is, I think some people will. But no matter how long you're gone, no matter what's going on in your life, you can always go back to church to get recharged and refueled in your relationship with God and the people within the walls of that church. So we think you need a home church as a home base. Third, we think you need a church when you're sad. Sad things are going to happen in your life. You know that. They probably already have. But we think you need a church, a home to go to when you're sad, so that there are people that can help you make sense of all of that. So that maybe a pastor or one of your leaders can pray with you. So that the relationships that you've built with people while you're there can help you while you are sad. Why do you think so many people wanted to go back to church during this pandemic of COVID? They were scared, they were lonely, they were sad, and they wanted to go back to church with people that they knew felt the same way that they did. That's why we think you need a church. Number 4, we think you need a church when you're happy too, because people love to celebrate. And if you've grown up in this church, or if you've gone through the confirmation process, people know who you are. And they want to celebrate and be happy with you, whether that's making the honor roll, or making the football team, or maybe you became a cheerleader, or maybe your artwork won a prize. Maybe you write poetry and you want to share it. These people of this church want to celebrate you when you go out and you go and get your first good job, or go to college, or get married, or have children, whatever that is. We think you need a church home, so you have a place to go and be happy and celebrate with those people who love you. And 5, we just think you need a church to call home forever. Now, I don't know if this will make sense, but I'm going to try. Again, my analogies are what help me. If you have a church home, it helps your family when you grow older. It gives them a place to go back to, your children and grandchildren, or your extended family, to a place where you loved and people loved you. And it also let them know that you had a great relationship with Christ. So here's a quick example. When my mom died, this was a long time ago, 26 years ago, she did not have a church home. She was a spiritual person, but she chose not to go to church. And when it came time to bury her, she was younger, 58. I didn't have a church home to go to for help planning her funeral. All I could do was go to the local funeral parlor. And there was a pastor there who had never met my mom, whom I had never met. I didn't want him to do the funeral for my mom, so I did it all by myself. It would have been a bigger gift to me if I had known my mom had a church community, people that could celebrate her life and grieve her with me, people that could help me make a service so impactful to help me let her go. So if you have a church home, it's a gift to your family as well. So this is the kickoff of your confirmation year. I hope that some of this has helped you accept this journey that you're about to take. And I'm hoping that maybe you might even get excited about it. Confirmation is a pretty cool thing to go through. I'm happy for you. I'm grateful that you're willing to take this journey with your church. And I look forward to meeting you and to hearing about some of the things that you have done. In the meantime, good luck. And I'll see you soon.